If you're watching this and lived through the year 2020, you're no stranger to pandemics. But if you're watching this, you've also survived the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think you could have survived a different pandemic? A deadlier one? One that targeted people primarily 20 to 40 years old? This is a question I've been asking myself, and in this video, I will be predicting whether I, a 20-year-old white woman from a rural area who suffers from asthma, could have survived the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu, which was at its height in 1919, came in 3 waves in spring, fall, and summer of that year. One who lived through COVID may assume I should immediately predict my survival. After all, I'm relatively healthy and young, with one pandemic survival already under my belt. However, there are some factors that make surviving the Spanish flu a tad trickier. There are some similarities between COVID and the Spanish flu, mainly in how the public reacted. Masks were required in public places, large gatherings were prohibited, and non-essential businesses were shut down. However, the pandemic itself was far more severe. In the 1919 pandemic, 1/3 of the global population was infected, and 50 million people died. This is compared to a current death count of 7 million for COVID. And it's not only that more people were dying that might make my survival more complicated, it's who was dying. In this graph, which helpfully compares the amount of people dying from pandemic-related causes to the amount of people dying from other causes, we can see a huge spike in the age range 20 to 40 for those dying from pandemic-related causes, with the most common age being 28. I do fall into this age range, though I am at the start of it. While it's not certain why the flu seemed especially deadly for what would normally be the most resistant age population, there are theories ranging from possible lack of immunity due to an earlier flu that the older population would have been exposed to, and a possible overreaction of the immune system, leading to the death of healthy cells. There's also a theory that ties into World War I, which was also happening at this time. This telegram is informing of a military staffing crisis. The reason there is a crisis is due to the crowded environment of the military barracks allowing for a perfect breeding ground for the Spanish flu, which ended up killing more people than died in the war. For this reason, the death count was skewed towards men, which means I, as a woman, would have had a lesser chance of being infected. It was also Indigenous groups and big city dwellers who were hit the hardest by the flu. Since I am from a rural area, I would have stood a far better chance of not contracting the flu, which infected about 1/3 of Americans. For the factors I listed at the beginning of the video, my sex, race, and location, I would have had a fair chance at surviving the Spanish flu pandemic. However, my survival is almost entirely dependent on my not contracting the disease to begin with. If I happened to be infected, I would almost certainly die, both due to my age and my asthma. One of the leading causes of death during the pandemic was infection in the lungs after the illness had passed, which due to the general lack of antibiotics at the time could not be treated. As someone who already has fairly weak lungs, this would most likely take me out. In conclusion, while it's difficult to give a prediction due to the variety of contradicting factors, I believe I would have survived due to my geography and gender protecting me. Thank you for watching.